All right, let's jump right into this explainer and completely demystify the core principles of occupational health and safety. We're going to take what usually feels like incredibly dry, dense compliance material and flip it into a dynamic, super practical guide. Because, let's be real here, absolutely nobody wakes up excited to read a compliance manual, but every single one of us wants to go home safe at the end of the day. So, let me hit you with a question right out of the gate. Is workplace safety really just common sense? Or is there a true measurable cost to cutting corners? It's so tempting to think safety is just about telling people to, well, be careful. But relying on just common sense, that's basically a recipe for disaster. There are profound human and financial costs tied to workplace accidents, and truly understanding those costs is step one in taking control of your organization's culture. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover why manage safety, health, safety, and welfare, who does what at work, navigating shared workplaces, and finally, managing contractors. Let's get to it. Starting off with Section 1, why exactly do we need to manage workplace safety? Let's look at the three main imperatives. It really boils down to three absolute musts. First is the moral duty. Quite simply, society demands that people are safe on the job. It is morally unacceptable that folks are killed, injured, or made sick just by doing their jobs. Second is the financial impact. Look, accidents cost money, and when things go wrong, you aren't just paying the direct costs. You get hit with a whole avalanche of indirect, uninsured losses. We're talking massive production delays, a complete tanking of staff morale, and reputational damage that can literally break a business. And third, legal compliance. If the moral and financial arguments somehow don't convince you, the law steps in with severe penalties for noncompliance. Now, check out this hand-drawn mind map of the Health and Safety at Work Act of 1974. What's super interesting here is that it's not just some flat list of boring rules. It's a deeply interconnected web. It visually breaks down how central legislation intricately links to the specific legal duties employers owe their teams. It proves that genuine safety needs a holistic approach, involving plant systems, proper training, and the work environment itself. Moving right along to Section 2, Health, Safety, and Welfare. Let's quickly define this foundational trio. First up is health, and we're not just talking about dodging the seasonal flu here. It's the complete absence of disease or ill health, and it covers a massive spectrum. On one side, you have long-term physical risks, like inhaling asbestos dust, which might not actually show up as lung cancer for decades. On the flip side, you have psychological risks. Subjecting workers to extreme, unmanaged stress can lead to a literal mental collapse. So health covers both the body and the mind. Continuing our rapid-fire definitions, we have safety. While health is often a long game dealing with illness over time, safety is all about the right now. It's the prevention of acute, immediate personal injury. A perfect example? Staying the heck out of the danger area when there's a heavy load suspended from a crane. If that load drops, a lack of safety means immediate, catastrophic consequences. And we round out the trio with welfare. This is all about basic human needs, folks. We're talking access to hygienic toilets, proper hand wash stations, clean resting places to eat, and drinking water. Without these absolute basics, you can't maintain health. And honestly, you can totally forget about having a productive workforce. All right, Section 3, who does what at work? Let's dive into roles and responsibilities. It all kicks off at the very top with the employer. The employer is the legal entity or corporate body providing the jobs. And here is the absolutely crucial point. They hold the ultimate overarching responsibility to make sure workers are protected from risks. In fact, if you look at the International Labor Organization, specifically ILO Convention C-155, Article 16, it makes it crystal clear that providing a comprehensively safe environment is the employer's legal obligation. The buck absolutely stops there. But obviously, an organization has layers, right? Think of it like a baton being passed down. Top management and directors are the strategic thinkers. They set the direction, allocate the budget, and prioritize safety. Middle management and supervisors, on the other hand, are in the trenches, handling the day-to-day operations. They're the ones actually managing specific task safety on the ground, using those resources the top brass provided. And this slide brilliantly illustrates a simple yet incredibly powerful culture formula. A strong, positive culture equals good performance. A weak, negative culture equals poor performance. Think about it. If the top directors aren't visibly committed to safety, like if they don't even bother to put on their hard hats when they visit a site, then the workers lower down the chain aren't going to bother either. Culture strictly flows from the top down. Next up, Section 4, Navigating Shared Workplaces and the Whole Concept of Joint Occupier Duties. When you have joint occupiers, meaning multiple companies sharing a single physical site, you get this massive ripple effect of shared responsibilities. You literally can't operate in a silo. Companies have to talk to each other. They need to share risk assessments. They must coordinate emergency response teams. I mean, if you have 10 contractors on a huge shutdown project, you don't need 10 different fire teams. You pool your resources. They've got to hold joint committee meetings to coordinate schedules. Why? To prevent incredibly dangerous simultaneous operations, like one team doing a crane lift right over the heads of another team doing pump maintenance. Which brings us to Section 5, Managing Contractors. Let's walk through our 3-step playbook. If you're looking for a foolproof way to manage contractors from the day you hire them, right up to project completion, this is it. Step 1, selection. Step 2, planning. And Step 3, monitoring. Step 1 is selection, and honestly, this is where the biggest, most expensive mistakes tend to happen. You simply cannot just go with the cheapest bid. You've got to dig into their health and safety policies. You absolutely must review their past incident and accident records. Think about it. If you ignore a contractor's terrible track record, hire them anyway, and someone gets hurt on your site, you, as the employer, are looking at some severe negligence liabilities. You also need to verify professional memberships, like checking if they actually follow ISO or ILO standards. Okay, so you've selected a safe contractor. Awesome. Now for Step 2, planning. This is a two-way street of information. The client has to warn the contractor about hazards posed by the site itself. Things like hidden electrical lines or weak structural spots. In return, the contractor has to outline the hazards their activities will bring to the site, like using heavy cranes or toxic chemicals. This critical conversation has to happen before a single tool is lifted. And finally, Step 3, monitoring and managing. Look, just because you hired them and made a solid plan doesn't mean you get to just walk away. The client has to continuously audit the work against those agreed-upon method statements. And always remember this, the client retains the ultimate authority. If you spot major noncompliance or sketchy practices happening out there, you have the power to suspend the contractor and stop the work entirely. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really chew on. Take a hard look at your own organization. Is your workplace truly safe by design, built on careful management, strict contractor selection, and a clear top-down culture? Or have you all just been lucky so far? Because the thing about luck is, it eventually runs out. But a robust safety management system, that protects your people and your business every single day. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep making safety a priority out there.